Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video. Nigel Farage has absolutely went off against Beth Rigby in a crazy 5-minute interview. Watch this. Starmer has officially lost. Tommy Robinson on Saturday is hosting a massive, and I mean a massive event that Sky News, BBC News are all going to be lying about, saying that barely anyone's shown up. You're going to see they are bringing a helicopter and it is going to be huge. But that's not all. The police turned down an event that the Palestinians wanted to host outside Downing Street. Instead, Tommy Robinson has got the day on Saturday in central London where everyone is going to show up.
Just over 3 years ago, we were stuck on little Telegram groups, struggling. When we held our Rape of Britain demonstrations, when we played our documentaries, few thousand people. Look where we are now. But also look what's happened with the police. The police in Scotland Yard in London were used as a tool against patriots. There was forced clashes, purposely orchestrated by political policing coming from the top. We started a new relationship with the police a few years ago with Unite the Kingdom, where we approached them and openly had these discussions about conflict between patriots in Britain and the police and how we felt unfairly treated as second-class citizens. We felt there were different rules for Black Lives Matter, different rules for jihadists, different rules for pro-Hamas rallies, and then they come out all guns blazing for patriots. And do you know what? Just being honest, we started a new relationship and it's been very successful. And I have to thank the police for the way they've policed us, cooperated with us, facilitated us in a new movement that has allowed us to put on what can only be described as spectacular patriotic days. Now, the Nakba, do you know what that is? You shouldn't have to know what that is. It's some bullshit Palestinian day. And this year, this is why I'm asking you, please, yeah? The police are really under political pressure in Great Britain. The Metropolitan Police are. Because they stood up for your rights. Not my rights, your rights. Your rights as British citizens to hold a patriotic day in central London. There's been a big backlash because the Palestinians wanted the day. They wanted to be outside Parliament, they wanted Trafalgar Square, they wanted Whitehall. They've got none of them, okay? Because the police recognised you as a community. That's a shift, people, okay? A real shift. And it's not just a shift. Police officers have really stood up here for British people's right to protest and freedom. And there will be some high-ranking police officers who are really getting it in the neck. And I've seen the MPs, I've seen the unions, I've seen them all protest outside Scotland Yard, targeting the police officers for daring to allow this rally and not giving the Nakba Day all of London, okay? So what I'm going to ask you, please, you've seen Keir Starmer yesterday. You've seen the vile comments coming from the far left, coming from the extremists, coming from the media, coming from the government, coming from all of them, yeah? We cannot, after the negotiations we've gone through, where we've got to, allow ourselves to be provoked. Because I guarantee you, there will be an attempt now, this Saturday, to ruin what we've done. There'll be an attempt to prove the police officers who made the decision to allow us to do this wrong. And that attempt will come from provocation. They may allow far left protesters close enough. They may allow them close enough to provoke you. What I'm asking you is if you did react to that provocation, you are giving them exactly what they want. And I know it's hard when people are screaming at you. In fact, I saw this for years. What they would do, we'd have the English Defence League, they'd allow them to get within distance and then allow them to throw something. And they'd throw something into our crowd and everyone would react. Now, by reacting, I understand it, but you're giving them exactly what they want. They'll have the media lined up waiting, and then they'll condemn us, they'll condemn you, they'll condemn all of us, and what they'll do is they'll then condemn the police officers who have put their necks on the line to give us the right to protest over these fucking jihadists, yeah? So, please, come to London with the right attitude, come to London and recognise those police officers. There's been a real shift. I've seen it. I've seen it in the police when I talk to them. I've seen it from when I was remanded. I was still in prison a year ago on solitary confinement, just in last year. But in that imprisonment, when I first got put in the police cells, the reception I received was incredible from the police. Remember, they see this bullshit every day. They're on the front line of it. They're the ones who have got DEI. They're not getting promoted. The average decent, hard-working white officer knows he's not getting promoted. They're angry. So to see the revolution that's happening, whether it be culturally, politically, it's happening everywhere, in everything. People are sick to death of it, including average police officers. So understand this on Saturday. And it doesn't mean there's not going to be a rogue officer. It doesn't mean there's not going to be an officer who's there acting like a superhero. Yeah? It doesn't mean that. What it means is, please don't react to it. Please bite your lip. And if that means having to take some abuse, it means rising above it. And then us lot on Sunday smiling and knowing that they didn't provoke us, that we controlled ourselves. And lads, to the football groups of London, to the Millwalls, to the Tottenhams, to the Chelsea, to the West Ham, Palace, Fulham, all of you, yeah? We need you on Saturday. We need you as disciplined, tough men to make sure other men don't step out of line. We know sometimes this can attract all sorts of characters and that everyone's entitled to feel frustrated, patriotic, nationalist, but also frustrated and angry. But it's down to us to make sure the police don't need to step in. So it's down to you guys, please, police these crowds with us. Help us. We've got 200, 300 probably raising on security on the day. That's not enough for an event like this. We need you, every one of you, to be our security. You see, if someone turns up with a face covering, they are not part of our movement, okay? Because we're telling you quite clearly, no face coverings. Because if you allow face coverings, we will have a January 6th on Saturday. We will have infiltration by government bodies, by infiltration by undercover units who are there to provoke and create violence. So we don't allow face coverings because that allows no undercovers. Yeah. So if you can't come without covering your face, please don't come. Okay. Because you will be asked by the crowd. First of all, lads, look, you can ask politely, please take that face covering down. But anyone wearing a face covering is hostile to our movement. That's it. Shouldn't be there. Don't want them there. We are coming with huge smiles for a beautiful day. That's what we're coming for. So everyone, please, police our crowds. Help us police ourselves, yeah? Make sure the right message is there. Everyone who come on September 13th would have experienced a beautiful day, a celebration. And this doesn't mean that little things could go wrong, but we've worked tirelessly with the police. And that's my point. Police are not our enemy on Saturday, right? They're not our enemy. The government are our enemy. Do you know how we beat them? By not giving them what they want. By not allowing them to betray us as thugs. By not being provoked. By, even if we are under severe provocation, by rising above it, by smiling, by singing your patriotic songs, by waving your flags, and by participating in the biggest event, the biggest gathering. When people say, what difference does it make? As I said, look where we was 3 years ago. Look at the voting patterns 3 years ago. Look now what just happened last week with Reform. Congratulations to every activist who joined Reform, to every local community member that got involved in Reform, to everyone who leafleted and campaigned, everyone. Yeah. But look at what's happened in 3 years, 2 years, since Unite the Kingdom, 2024. Look where we are now. Yeah. We have got the battle for Britain is coming up in 2029. The battle for Britain. The battle to save this nation. No one's asking you. Do you know previous generations had to go to the borders and fight? Blood is soaked into the ground across Great Britain. Every corner of Great Britain, our ancestors' blood is drenched into the ground for fighting to save this nation. Well, our fight is now. This now. It's a different enemy. It's not an enemy coming from the shores. It's an enemy that's here. It's not an enemy of flesh and blood, okay? But the enemy is here. And this is a spiritual battle. It's a revolution, and it's happening. And I've been waiting 15 fucking long years for this. So it's happening. So let's not let ourselves down. Let's not let our country down. Let's take another step towards Goliath this Saturday. Let's have another awakening. There's a mass awakening where people who weren't awake are now awake. That wasn't going to happen overnight. Yeah, this 24 months, it's happening. It's a shift. And in 3 years' time, we need to be ready. We need to get fit. We need to get healthy. We need to get men training. We need to build communities. We need to join political parties. We need to become activists. How much are you willing to give? How much are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to do? What are you willing to do to fight to make sure your children have a safe country? To make sure your children grow up in great fucking Britain, not Islamabad. Yeah? The fight is well and truly on. We're shifting. And so to the people, I see some people making, oh, I'm not going to this event. I see some people, some citizen journalists who go to every protest. And this is coordinated. If you don't think there's a coordinated international attack on me because I'm leading the biggest movement this country's ever seen, yeah? Of course I'm under attack. Of course the smears are going to come out. Of course the lies. Of course all the bullshit. Of course the rumour mill. Of course the spreading bullshit everywhere about me. Of course it's going to happen because they want to derail. Why would you be condemning the biggest moment of any protest movement this country in its history? In its history. Why? So if someone's derailing it, if someone's criticising it whilst doing absolutely jack shit, remember these people who criticise me, I faced 10 years in prison in October and I'm willing for that, yeah? I've been willing for 15 years. I walk that walk every fucking day. Every time I step out of my car, every town centre I walk through, I'm ready, yeah? And if I have to go back to prison in October, I have to go back to prison.
This is going to be absolutely monumental in the change of British politics, where it looks like Nigel Farage could be the next Prime Minister of the UK. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe. This is going to be mental. Saturday, May 16th.